morning to you. Thank you for staying with us on Flu 94.9 FM, the Flu of Godson State. It's the 2nd of January 2023. Oh yeah, Happy New Year. Welcome to the very first edition of the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions. With the awakening sweeping across the nation, theoretically nudging complacency, apathy, and nonchalance amongst the electorate who feel the brunt of poor leadership and democracy gone wrong, the people are beginning to understand that the power to decide who emerges, who decides their fate, who forges the course of their future, like a goldsmith forges a metal, lies in their hands and tending to impose themselves. It's 2023. It's a new year. It's election year. 53 days, 21 hours, 52 minutes, 36 seconds to the next general election. Welcome on board. On the platform this morning, we're going to be beaming our torchlight on the Ikwuano Socio-Economic Summit. And of course, right here in the studios with me, before I introduce my guest, I am Wisdom Thomas. It's my pleasure having you join me this morning. Honorable Chukwuemeka Osabaka is the interim chairman of the Ahamefula Development Initiative Ikwuano and the former House of Assembly member representing Ikwuano State constituency. Good morning to you, sir. Good to have you.
Good morning, Wisdom.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Good to see you this year.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into the conversation as quickly as we can. A lot of persons would have had, I think this is not the very first time we're talking about the Ahamefula Development Initiative, and some of them are curious. They want to find out, what is it all about?
Well, basically, Ahamefula Development Initiative Ikwuano is a non-governmental organization.
Okay.
It's an NGO that is community-based. It's a community-based organization, primarily set up for community development. You know, try and carry out activities to help develop our communities and to interface with Ikwuano indigenes in the diaspora. To make sure that, develop Ikwuano as a commercial hub, and then to also offer succor to indigent students, especially intelligent ones, offer them scholarships to make sure, they gain basic education. So it's all about development of our people, sustained development of our communities. That is what Ahamefula Development Initiative is.
So like the name goes, Ahamefula Development Initiative, it's all about developing Ikwuano generally.
Yes.
I'm sure that I would have loved asking, I would have loved to ask what influenced its creation, but I think you've scratched the surface already. So tell us, what are the mission and the vision of this very union or this organization?
Well, basically the vision is to have an inclusive Ikwuano where competence becomes a threshold, and where there is a target and a developmental plan, that can be assessed. We intend, like I said, during this summit, we intend to roll out our roadmap, because you can't want to develop a place without having a plan. All this while, basically, we were motivated initially by what the seeming lack of qualitative administration of our collective resources in Ikwuano as a people. So we sought to, first of all, educate our people, inform them, because it is when you're educated, when you're educated, you'll be able to appreciate what is there and what is not, what you intend to achieve, your vision and your focus. Now, having gone on that path, we decided to come together, and professionals from various fields drawn across the four corners to draw up a tentative roadmap.
Sorry to interject. When you said drawn across the 4 clans, so which other, can you enlist these clans that?
Yeah, Ikwuano is basically made up, like the name implies, it's made up of 4 clans.
Okay.
You know, you have Oboro, you have Aremosaka, you have Oloko, and you have Ibere.
Okay.
These are the 4 clans.
So it's an embodiment of these 4 clans.
Yes, yes. The association actually set up a committee, you know, an economic committee headed by Evangelist Abraham Osondu, you know, who has had many years in the professional circle of developmental economics and all that. We also had other members. I was a member too of the subcommittee on funding, you know, having studied economics, you know, and collectively we decided, let us come out with a suggestive blueprint, because you can't criticize, you can't say, well, for example, when I was in the House of Assembly, people say, he didn't do anything. Some say he did something. You know, there is no basic parameter to assess performance in terms of both representation and administration. If you say, you know, I mean, this has become necessary, because if we claim that we are basically, you know, our basic objective is for community development, both of us understand that the fastest way to community development, or rather the fastest, or the fastest means of societal development and community development is through governance, because nobody has, no individual association has enough funding or as much funding as the government, you know, to enhance community development. So you first start with now trying to make, within your area, trying to make the administration, the governance, accountable to the people. You know, it is only when governance and administration is people-oriented that you see some level of development coming on. So we now thought, what are the parameters to actually assess where we are going to and where we are?
Does it really mean that the Ahamefula Development Initiative, Ikwuano, was it formulated most recently, possibly because things hasn't really been going to plan? I mean, in terms of development, in terms of human capital development, other aspects of infrastructural development. Is it because it seems as though things are not working rightly so in terms of governance, that this very organization decided to come together just to pursue this very goal?
Well, I wouldn't particularly say that, but you see, we are a non-partisan organization. We are not directly involved in politics, even though we have, like I said, it's an Ikwuano thing. So you have various members who have various affiliations politically, you know, in quote. But the association itself, it's not a political organization. It's a non-partisan organization. But we are more concerned with the development of our people. You understand? We understand that Ikwuano could be a lot better, especially where we are a connecting hub between 2 oil-producing state capitals. From cocoa alone, annually, we produce over 200, 300 tons of cocoa, which runs in excess of 300, 400 million naira in the international market. So why don't we have a dependent economy within Ikwuano? From palm oil, we run annually, you know, an economy of over 190 million if we check in tonnage. You know, it was in Ikwuano had the first palm wine making industry, you know, mechanized making industry that later folded up in Abia State. We have so much. We have food basket, okay, and we don't even have a daily market, lock-up market, where we can display our wares, where our farmers can come out. Let's not talk about, you know, rural roads, connectivity, electricity, no storage facility. So if we begin to argue that we're not getting enough from the system as a people, without making suggestions, how do we know? How do the people who administer our common resources, you know, our collective, people who are in charge of our collective heritage, how do we tell them, look, this is what we expect you to do? Because you can't say someone is failing when you don't have any objective that is set.
Okay, you've said quite a lot already, and we're going to go to the point, having pointed out these different things which should have been the other way around, but it's not the case. We will look at that very 3-day summit much later. But can you assess the impact of the current administration on Ikwuano? Has there been projects, road, whatever at all that has impacted the people of Ikwuano within the course of this very tenure? Has there been anything at all rubbing off from the current administration for your people?
Well, personally, as a person, if you were asking me this question as a person, I'd answer more frankly than I would answer now as the interim chairman of the association. We feel that we don't have to lay blames when we haven't set standards. We understand, like I told you, you have a situation where you have 400,000 people without access to health care. There is no functional government hospital in Ikwuano. None.
That is very surprising.
Now you have a collapsing educational system. That sometimes we wonder these schools must have had alma mater, people who went through there who are prominent. Why can't even they come to the rescue? Because at some point, you don't always have to wait for government to come. So what we intend to do is, you can't say someone has failed when you haven't set a standard. But between both of us, we know whether the government is doing well or not.
How about representation now? I'm sure that, like you said, you're a former member of the House of Assembly, and there are some others who are there, the current administration, those before them and all that. At least while they do the lawmaking, there are still other things they could do to attract development to their place. What can you say about that?
Yeah, like I said, when there are no standards that have been set, it's difficult to assess performance.
But then, on the other hand, you would have known if there are sprinkles of success recorded.
Yeah. Like I said, for example, this is a rollout of an economic blueprint. We have managed. We set up an economic committee, that drew professionals from the 4 clans, who now met, over time, and serially came out with an economic blueprint that we tagged the Ikwuano Socio-Economic roadmap towards sustainable development in the 21st century. It assesses, tries to analyze, and project what we can accomplish, through a planned pattern.
So,
okay,
if you're just tuning in, it is the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions here on Flow 94.9 FM, the Flow of Godson State, the very first edition of the platform this year, and I've been speaking with Honorable Chukwuemeka Osabaka, who is the interim chairman of the Ahamefula Development Initiative Ikwuano, and of course former House of Assembly member representing Ikwuano State constituency. We're looking at Ikwuano generally, how they've been impacted by politics, democracy, and all that, and then still talking about the Ahamefula Development Initiative. Now let's talk about the 3-day summit. It's in touching distance. First and foremost, what is it all about?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a summit that basically for Ikwuano people to come together and discuss issues affecting Ikwuano and how we can develop our communities. I told you that we came up through an economic committee, came up with a blueprint, which has been put in a book form, okay, which we intend to present or unveil to the Ikwuano people during this summit. It's a work in progress. It merely highlights areas that we can now collectively come together to develop and expand, but gives us something to be able to assess, performance by people who we send out to represent us, or people who we trust with the administration of our common resources. Now that has been set up, we decided to form to have a summit to discuss these issues, present this roadmap to the Ikwuano people, to our royal fathers, to our PGs, you know, to the village heads, to the women leaders, the youth leaders of various communities, present an idea. This is an idea we have. This is what we have come up with collectively, that we need you people to x-ray and expand on, so that we actually have a projection and a plan, you know, for the future, which gives us a basis to assess people who we send out to represent us politically, okay? And then we also hear, the keynote address will be...
We will look at those who are set to be a part of that occasion, but now let's look at what is the role, or what role does the politicians have to play in this? Now, you've mentioned that you've done the blueprint, which is, of course, a commendable one, and then there are so many persons who are going to be around. You've mentioned the royal, the kings across board, the women leaders, the youth leaders, and all that. So what is the role of the politicians in this very blueprint? What do they have to offer?
Well, in terms of politics, this is an election period, you know, and in the past, people we feel have been so marginalized because they've not had adequate information at the grassroots, at the rural level. You know, it's a different thing having a political opinion based on informed information. So what we try to put out there is to inform our people. On the second day of the conference, we decided to invite all politicians seeking Ikwuano votes, okay, to an interactive session with the Ikwuano people. Let them come, you know, address us, we'll listen to them, let us know the plans they have for us, okay, as a people. And then when they have told us what the plans they have for us, we as Ikwuano people will sit back, okay, and look at these plans, x-ray these plans. While they tell us the plans they have for us, we also present them with plans we have for ourselves. This is the minimum bar that we expect from you people, okay? And then when they go, we will look through what they have told us and inform our people on what has been said, and enable them to make informed decisions.
Would there be any occasion whatsoever where the Ahamefula Development Initiative would have to endorse people, perhaps maybe because this person's plans for the people of Ikwuano aligns really well with the blueprint, the economic blueprint?
Well, we're not a political organization. We already said we're non-partisan. But we
so
can...
you will not have anything to do with who...
We can have ratings. We can have ratings.
That's seemingly endorsing someone.
Well, not really endorsements. It's all about ratings and then telling our people this is what we feel. You know, and this is based on the information available to us. This is the information available to us. And then allow them, you know, make informed decisions. Now, we are not going to decide for them.
Easier said than done. What I mean is, it's a cliche now. Politicians will always come to woo and sway the minds of the electorate, telling them from down earth here to heaven what they will do when they get into offices. It's very much rampant during this period. But what is left to be seen is if they would make those things reality. So are there modalities to checkmate this in the aftermath of the election?
Well, it's all about, like I said, education. When you fail to educate your people, you close their minds. You understand? Once the mind is blank, the eyes are blank, they can't see. If the people are educated, you can only fool them once. If you have adequate information and you're able to make informed decisions and people break promises to you, that is why it's a democratic process. You can only deceive the people and hang on to power for 4 years. They have an opportunity to get back at you, okay? But let them be informed and educated and know the process. That way, they will be able to tell who is not really sincere with them. You know, it's not the politics of stomach infrastructure, or, you know, getting people to it for today. We're talking about sustainable development. We're talking about a system that can generate an economic environment that will improve the lives of people and, through private participation, develop our communities, because the resources are there. It's all about better administration. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, we'll go on a very short break. When we return, we will continue the conversation. We'll burrow more into the 3-day Socio-Economic Summit 2023 as it has to do with Ikwuano, what it is all about. What is it all about? We're trying to have a shared understanding of what it is and what it intends to achieve in the long run. And then when I come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. Oh yeah, there's still the platform, the pinnacle of all discussions here on Flow 94.9 FM, the Flow of Godson State. You can say this is the second half of the platform this morning. My name is Wisdom Thomas. I've been speaking with Honorable Chukwemeka Osabaka, a former House of Assembly member who represented Ikwuano State constituency and the interim chairman of the Ahemefula Development Initiative, Ikwuano. And we've been looking at the 3-day summit which is upon us and having a shared understanding of what it is all about, what is it about achieving, what are the goals, the objectives, and who can even play a part in that very summit. Thank you for still staying with us, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we're live on Facebook. In case you want to see for yourself what's happening right here in the studios, go to facebook.com/Flow949FM. Drop your comment. And of course, down the line, we will open up the phone lines as to hear from you, especially in the wake of the discussions and what you make of this very initiative of the Ahemefula Development Initiative, Ikwuano. Now let's get back into it. The summit is set for when? When is it happening now? I know you've mentioned it in patches.
3rd, 4th, and 5th of January 2023. That it starts tomorrow.
I understand that there are different programs for each of the days. Talk us through that.
Yeah, the first day is basically to address directly the Ikwuano people by the Ikwuano people.
Address the Ikwuano people by the Ikwuano people.
Yeah, but what I mean by the Ikwuano people is by indigenes of Ikwuano.
Okay.
We have the chairman of the occasion, Barrister Mondo Bani, PhD, who is a renowned lawyer. Has been president of MBA in various chapters, both in Lagos State and so on. Then, the keynote address for the first day will be delivered by Ambassador Dr. Anthony Ewelike, who's a renowned banker, a retired banker. He's been, in fact, he was the founding managing director of AG Homes Mortgage Bank, and he's a development expert, even though, he's more or less specialized in banking. He would deliver the keynote address, and then we have in attendance the special guest of honor, who is an illustrious son of Ikwuano, Chief Henry Ikechukwu, who is current Minister of State, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. He is our special guest of honor. He will also address the audience. Another illustrious son, Representative Chief Sam Onibo, who is our representative at the Federal House, and illustrious son of Ikwuano, Udoziobolo. He will be there too, to also speak to the Ikwuano people. The House of Assembly member, Honorable Stanley Wabisi, will also have his chance to, speak to the people. And then we'll unveil the roadmap, like I said, by the chairman of the Economic Committee, Evangelist Abraham Osondo. He will present the roadmap to the Ikwuano people. Then we'll possibly also listen out to the chairman of the Council of Ndeze in Ikwuano, His Royal Highness, who will be present, too, for the occasion, Dimele. And also have some of our Ikwuano sons who are in diaspora, address the conference by Zoom.
Okay.
So it's a collective thing. It's once we do that for the first day, create the agenda. I mean, lay the path, the suggested path for a sustained development of our people. Then the second day, we'll also have an address that will be given by Professor Mrs. Hioman Dimele, who's also an illustrious daughter of Ikwuano, right? On the role of women in economic development, community economic development. We will, of course, the keynote address the previous day would be on sustainable economic development in Ikwuano, a roadmap for the 21st century. So she will be talking the next day on the role of women.
That's the second day.
Yes, the second day. Now, within this second day too, we would have an kind of a town hall process,
okay,
an interactive session with politicians who seek votes from Ikwuano, who think that it's worth their time to come and address the people and tell them plans that they have for us. And that will take it through for the second day, the interaction with politicians, so that we have enough time to hear them out and ask questions. Then the third day, which is the last day, would be the inauguration. Basically, we would come up with a communique to the press, and we would also inaugurate the youth forum. That we all know that they kind of drive community development. So that is how the 3 days have been set, and on each day we'll also have Ikwuano indigents in diaspora connect to the summit via Zoom, and it will also be streamed live on our Facebook handle.
Interesting. Very packed with activities, like you mentioned now. Importantly, we know that, like you mentioned, the people will have a huge role to play as the summit is set to possibly unveil the roadmap, economical development of Ikwuano and all that. On the other hand, the election is equally close, and that leaves me asking, like you mentioned, this very non-governmental organization is geared towards the education of the people on what they can do in terms of sustainable development and all that. Are there modalities or measures which has been put in place by the Ahamefula Development Initiative to educate the people to get their PVCs, because we know that the collection is ongoing? What can you say in that aspect?
Well, like I said, education-wise, from a non-partisan point, we have continued to do that. There are 57 original, call it 60 villages that make up Ikwuano. And we have representation from all the villages, right down. Because we intend to actually pass legitimate and genuine information to our people, so that they can have the information they require to kind of take their own decisions. Okay? Because if you're not well informed, you wouldn't be able to take the best decision available to you.
So the education part of the what the Ahamefula Development Initiative doesn't transcend the aspect of telling them or beckoning on them to get their PVCs.
No. It's part of the process. Like I said, it's part of the education.
Okay.
I told you earlier that the greatest source of community development comes from government. Okay? Now, if people are not able to put in the right people, to administer their collective heritage or resources and hold them accountable, okay, then there will be definitely a misdirection. The people have to be informed to be able to know who gives them the best deal and the best way to ensure that you keep your words to them.
Interesting. Well, we can get you involved in the conversation now, so you can go ahead and call us on the number 080818264949 0811-6052-949. While we take your calls, the conversation will continue. When you call us, tell us your name and location, and then go ahead with your contribution. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, my wonderful speaker in the studio, Wisdom Thomas. Happy New Year to you, sir.
All the best. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, I remain Comrade President Chumba from Washington, South. My man in the studio from Ikwuano. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, brother.
Okay, yeah, what I want to draw up to you is that contesting election is exciting, but to win election is exhilarating. People believe by your ability to just disobedience that's being conspicuously loyal, to make sure all this you're promising, to make sure that you do it to the people. And let me tell you something, the reason why people are suffering today is that the people in us, they are not understanding the freedom from unwarranted governmental deprivation of the right to life, liberty and minority rights. They are functioning under unconstitutional rights. With their own sensitivity is growing in organism of nationalism in system. So what I want to tell you today is that make sure that you work according to the government and do the needful by the people. Now, Wisdom Thomas, make sure that you do what I ask you to do. Thank you for coming to our chamber.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's take this call. We lost that one. Do call back. On the other hand, it's important, like he mentioned, in terms of the people now. What has the response been so far, having reached out to a lot of persons in the wake of these very epoch summits?
Well, of course, people are interested in getting their welfare improved. It's nobody's structure. It's an Ikwuano thing. There's no political undertone. It's a neutral organization that just aims at making sure that our communities are developed. Making sure our people are properly educated, making sure that our resources are properly used, holding governance accountable for our collective resources. So it's everybody's business. It's every indigenous business.
Let's take this call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good to have you join us. Tell us your name and location.
Okay, my name is Okun. I'm calling from Obubu in Aramusaka, local government.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I greet the honorable member in the studio on a Bitcoin Tabaka. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, I also greet the presenter.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you really did a nice job. Our development initiative is a collective initiative by Ikwuano indigenous, which most of us are part of. Is actually the Ikwuano indigenous who has the good governance of Ikwuano, who preaches Ikwuano first over his personal ambition and the selfish interest. Is a member, so it's a collective development for all Ikwuano indigenous. And we know that our honorable member has said, it's a very big event which has not happened in Ikwuano before. And the good thing about it is that we are coming up with a blueprint on the roadmap for Ikwuano development, which will touch all facets of development in Ikwuano, from human to material development. So we thank him and the other members that come up with this initiative, and those that will make it to be a success.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your take. Let's take this other call. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good to have you join us. Tell us your name and location.
I am Dr. Kwendada. My name is Obama. I am calling from Boston, the hometown of. Good morning, guests in the house.
Good morning, brother.
Thank you, sir. I am listening to your program this morning. You are analyzing the very complete, and I like the way you are addressing something and the terms of election period and the PVC collection. Mr. Speaker, I might advise those that doesn't have PVC go and collect his PVC in INEC office when the time reach. Now INEC has lift the ban of collecting the PVC. Let everybody go and collect PVC and vote the Labour candidate in Nigeria, in Abia, and every leader.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, if our people didn't go and collect PVC, it doesn't mean that some people they don't know it's right to vote the normal candidate.
Okay.
In 2023, Labour Party.
Thank you very much for your take. It's no campaign. That's not what we are doing here. But then he mentioned something very important: collection of the PVC, which would give the people the right and the ability to voting their rightful candidate who would lead in the next couple of years. Let's still take your reaction, and I will come back to my guest here in the studio. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead. Tell us your name and location. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, vividly. Go ahead. Hello. You can call back 0808-1826-949 or 0811605249. You can go to facebook.com/Flow949FM and drop your comments there, or send a message to 0906510829. Good morning.
Okay. Hello, good morning, Wisdom.
Can you turn down the volume on your radio?
Okay, it's Okafor Tinedum. I'm calling from Oman.
You're welcome, Okafor. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, good morning, my son in the house.
Good morning.
Okay, well, I have listened to all your programs. You people are doing well, at least to galvanize the political aspiration of people who are campaigning from Ikwuano. It's a good thing. Whatever any group can do, more especially non-political, whatever any group can do to educate the masses, to tell the masses on the way to go in order to get and achieve quality leadership in Abia State, in Nigeria, is a very nice move. And I want to thank you people for such wonderful programs you have organized for the people of Ikwuano. And you can see that Ikwuano alone have 3 candidates contesting for one position. And this thing will help the people to know the person to go for and what they want, because it's all about quality leadership. So I want to encourage you people to move ahead. God will strengthen you people. And I know with this kind of program, the people will know the way to go. That is the only way to assess their candidate. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okafor. Let me still come back to you, Honorable. In the wake of defiance from the politicians, perhaps after presenting the blueprints, look at the way we want you to go about this very representation, look at the aspects we would want you to focus on. This would affect us. Are we not the one sending you? The person will say, yes, these are the things we want you to do for us, and that very politician doesn't bat an eyelid. Are there chances that the group would possibly tell the people, this is what this person has said, therefore we will not support this kind of person?
Well, like I said, ours is to inform our people. Inform our people based on the objectives that have been set.
Okay.
The collective objectives that have been set. And once they are better informed, we believe that, Ikwuano people are smart people. We have what it takes. We would not continue to subjugate to our people to a visionless system. That is why we have come up to draw up a plan, give some kind of direction that would now, we hope, would now be embraced collectively and expanded by the people. So if you fool us today, you cannot fool us tomorrow. Okay? With the amended electoral bill and all that, I think people now have a stronger say in what happens politically. So the people will be informed, they'll be better informed, and collectively we'll take a decision, as to what is best for us. as a people.
Let's continue to take your reactions. Good morning. Do a call back. Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it's from Charoloko.
Go ahead.
Please, you have been voting and voting and voting. Yes. There is
Are you still there?
not getting anything from all the votes, all this why. Look at Ikwuano as a whole. Nothing to write home about. The third road that they took from Ndoro down to Ntalako, extend it to Ncharo Loco, extend it to Loco, extend it to Amizi. Nothing. We are just suffering for nothing. Every day you keep telling us vote for this, vote for this, vote for. At the end of the day, all of them will still go to Abuja and tell us that they are representing us. When they are not they are representing their pocket. Representing their pocket, that's what they are doing. They are not representing anybody.
Wrap up
We
your
are
thoughts
tired
now.
of voting.
No.
That is the reality.
Thank you very much for your own take. You had he's calling directly from your place.
Yes, and I don't blame him. We suffer the same thing. I'm from Epiralala in Remosaka. Currently, it's difficult for me to drive into my village, and he's from Oncharo Loco. Sometimes there are areas of Oncharo that is quite also very difficult to access. So he's pained by the facts on ground. Like I said earlier during the program, how do you imagine 400,000 people without access to any government general hospital? If somebody is ill, before you can get good medical care, you have to come out to Maya or go to Yo to receive that. Most times it takes a lot to get there because there's no road to even rush the person. So people, no organized system, no pipe-borne water for the people. Individuals, collective individuals have to drill their own borehole and so on and so forth. The electrification of the rural communities, is not something to write home about. There are no storage facilities for the farmers in a predominantly agrarian society, and we could go on and on. But what we're saying is, before now, we've not been able to come out with, a programmed plan of development, which is what we are striving to do. To say, this is our roadmap, to sustainable development. These are the key issues that we have picked up, that we have developed to guide us to sustainable development. Now let us start afresh, okay? Now we have a plan that we can use to assess whoever is administering our collective resources or representing us anywhere of his performance to the people, because if we don't have a direction, you leave people to determine, prioritize their issues based on sentiments and emotions, which has led us nowhere. So it is going to be different. He cannot be tired of voting because there is no time that our votes will matter more than now, because now our votes will count. Okay? So it's all about listening out to the contestants, determining who has the best resolve and the best deal and the person of integrity that you feel will be able to develop your community and give you the kind of life that you require. That's what it's all about.
If you would allow me to ask this question, you are a former lawmaker. Yes, we're winding down to the end of the platform, but we still have a little meters ahead of us to cover. As a former lawmaker, want to understand now, which of course our listeners who are illiterate who would love to listen to and understand as well. How do they now ascertain those who are competent, who has integrity, who are capable of even delivering on their promises or their manifesto from outside looking in?
Well, nobody, you don't come to run an election today from the moon. Okay? There must be antecedents. You must have a pedigree. You must have been coming from somewhere. Okay? We're all indigenous that can point to what you have done the love you have shown to your community or to, your immediate environment before now. You can't tell me you would improve my life if you're not able to improve yours, primarily, because charity begins at home. So people there is that parameter for judgment. We have to be able to know, what have you done in the past, okay, to make us trust you for the future. Because to study the future, I mean, to be able to succeed in the future, to project into the future, you have to study the past. So that's the way it's going to be.
Let's still take your reactions. There are some comments on Facebook. The phone line still buzzing. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Sorry, honorable. There's something I want you to do for me. I give you my life.
Well, I must confess I don't really understand what he was saying there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you join the conversation. Tell us your name and location.
Yes, my name is Martin Omero, Atoto Global. I'm calling from Awumuku, Defense.
Go ahead.
I really want to thank Honorable Osabaka for such an initiation. Very good initiative to make Ikwuano first. To be frank with you, we are happy. We, as Ikwuano people, we are very, very happy for such an idea, an ideology, for making Ikwuano first, and such a summit that this is the first summit ever in Ikwuano that will bring Ikwuano people together to have a blueprint to make Ikwuano move forward. For those who believe Ikwuano is a shopping area, let them go and shop in their own house. It's not more Ikwuano again. Ikwuano will have woken up. The youth of Ikwuano will have woken up. We really thank Honorable Osabaka, Prince Osabaka, Honorable, for such an idea. And with this time around, the needful must be done.
Okay.
I want to thank our governor for his dynamic and development in United States. May God bless you.
Thank you very much for your take. Now, we're getting closer to the end of the program. Now, I'm going to ask again, how positive are you that this very summit is going to yield the desired fruit in the long run, that perhaps a couple of years from now you sit back and you remember that this happened, this 3-day summit happened at this very point, and wow, this is where we are. How positive are you about the outcome of this very summit and the other modalities being put in place by the Ahamefula Initiative Development Initiative, Ikwuano?
Well, I'm not Nostradamus to predict the future, but we always hope that the truth would outlive lies. And it's an association, like I said, that is not about anybody. It's about Ikwuano. It's about Ikwuano first. It's about the people. It's an organization we expect to outlive us, and it's aimed towards the development, collective development of the Ikwuano people. If it's on the Ikwuano people to decide, really. It's not. It's a non-governmental organization. There's no income to be made from it, So it's all about the people first, So it's their decision.
So tell us once again, that very summit is set for when?
It's set for tomorrow, Tuesday the 3rd, Wednesday the 4th, and Thursday the 5th, beginning 11 a.m. on each day.
And the venue for that very summit?
It's Local Government Council Hall in Ikwuano Local Government Council, Isialo Boro in Ikwuano.
Take that one more time.
The venue is the Local Government Council Hall, in Ikwuano Local Government Council headquarters in Isialo Boro.
Thank you very much. Let me appreciate Honorable Chukwemeka Osabaka, the interim chairman of the Ahamefula Development Initiative, Ikwuano, and of course a former House of Assembly member representing Ikwuano State Constituency. It's been my pleasure having you on the platform this morning.
Thank you very much, Wisdom. My pleasure too.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone who contributed their quota. You called in via the phone lines, dropped your comments on Facebook. I think I have to give it a look in before we leave the studio. There are comments on Facebook. Let me look at it before we leave. It says, this is a nice initiative. Politicians and other stakeholders of Ikwuano need to be held accountable for the growth and development of the local government. Mostly the people are seen as a catchment of votes. My prayer is this Ahmed Fele Ikwuano initiative will provide a platform through which development programs and projects to the area. Ikwuano people have suffered from the dire need of representational leaders in every sector that will help foster, accelerate development of the people of Ikwuano. It says that's from Dr. Godswill Okiyi, Warsaw in Poland. Thank you for following this program from as far as Poland. From Mwabeke Chukwemeka Marcus, he said, well done, Honorable Bakas. Maybe that's what they call you, is it? And then from Ezeka Elvi says, good morning from here, gentlemen in the studio. Happy New Year to you all. Sending my warmth wishes from John Paul Eze. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, everyone who contributed their quota to the success of the platform, the very first edition for the year 2023, and what a start it has had. Thank you to Stanko behind the visuals we are seeing on Facebook. Let me appreciate Moses. Thank you very much. And there's a right here in the studios. And sincere appreciation to my producer, Samson Eze, and of course, Mr. Ginika Oloha. I am Wisdom Thomas, and this is where the cookie will crumble on the platform this morning. God bless you, and bye-bye for now.